I get water.
I think Bernadette has answered some of my questions, but I've also have been on the Parks and Recreation for about 25 years, so I've had lots of dealings with associations. So mine are questions, Bernadette. I don't know a whole lot about the Chapter 95 Urban Services. I looked it up and couldn't find a whole lot of information about it. But I want to know, like, what bank will be used, who will determine how the funds will be spent, who will sign the checks, who will decide what contractors to use, who will be in charge of hiring and paying personnel. Will there be a check and balance system put in place? Will there be a yearly audit? Will it be provided to all of those who contributed to the fund? And what happens after 16 years to the maintenance and operations of the facility? And I know you haven't hired an attorney yet. So those are just my concerns.
Wow.
I'm going to leave this to you, and
If you don't mind me just referring back.
because one of my concerns was I noticed tonight that you can serve 9 years on the board, and 16 years is more than that.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Vicki. So to respond to some of those questions, so what bank will be used? We received a quote from Cruz and Associates, but that's not the only bond bank. So, just like with a mortgage, you can go to different banks and try to get the best rate that you possibly can. Who will determine how the funds will be spent? So when you establish an urban service district, the establishing ordinance that gets passed by city council identifies who is in charge of the urban service district. In most cases, like Heritage Park, there were 5 individuals, residents of the district, identified as members of the advisory board. But like I said, it's a special governmental district, so it's not the city. It's its own district, kind of like a water district, or some areas have their own fire district. So kind of like similar to that. And that advisory board becomes the folks who are authorized to do business for the urban service district. But it is done in conjunction with the city. So the city council establishes it. So, I would hope, and again, we're not far enough down the path to know the perfect answers, definitive answers to all of these things. But, knowing how much expertise the city has as far as what's the word, buying things, procurement, and working with contractors, that we would get guidance on accepting bids, getting the lowest possible price, the highest possible quality. Who will be in charge of hiring and paying personnel? That would still be the Indian Hills Community Club, because that's who's been hiring personnel and doing payroll for decades. Will there be a check and balance system put in place? Absolutely. Yearly audit, yes, we already provide our financials every year to the city. Will it be provided to all who are contributing? Yes, everybody contributing to the urban services district would be automatically members. What happens after 16 years to the maintenance and operations of the facilities? Urban service districts can be extended by petition again, so it'd have to go back to the neighborhood for petition. And at that point, the fee could be changed too. So, if you don't need that big $20 a month contribution because your bond's already paid off, you just need maintenance and operations, then that fee could be lowered. Have you hired an attorney to oversee this process? We have met with an attorney, but until we know that we are moving forward, we're not going to hire an attorney. So those are the questions that were provided by Ms. Vicki. And I'll give this back to you too, Sarah. All right, thank you. Next on the list is Candy Weedman.